Hello my friends, it's Gabriel with the Last Huntsman channel here. I'm just here at the old, I guess you'd call it bug out shelter. I don't really care for that term because I don't ever plan on bugging out. If things ever go bad, I'd rather bug in, but that's a different topic for a different video. But today I want to test and review the Becker BK21 Reinhardt Kukri, and this is not just a quick little backyard or even backwoods review. I've been testing this knife for quite some time now. I actually probably pushing a year now, and I will say I like it quite a bit. I've done a sharpening video on this already, so if you want I could even post that up on links below just to show how I sharpen a kukri. But however, I got a quick few little things to show you guys with this, and then we'll get on with the whole review. Alright, so one test I'm going to do here with this Becker BK21 Reinhardt Kukri is I'm going to see how well this thing could chop on some bone. So I got a ham bone here. I'm going to test it out. So let's just see what this thing could do if you really just needed to hack up zombies or something, whatever you want. Alright, let's see if I can actually right now, I'm going to be doing some heavy chopping with the Becker BK21 Reinhardt Kukri. So I'm going to cut down this cedar tree. Right now I just got to clear out some of the smaller branches. So I think I got most of that out of the way. Let's cut this tree down. Dead anyway, so well, poor little tree huggers out there. There we go. Alright, so a test I'm going to do with this Becker Reinhardt Kukri is I'm going to delimb this tree I fell here. I don't knock down the camera. This thing has a lot of power, so it should be one of its strong points. I will cut through a whole tree instead. So with the Reinhardt Kukri, this thing's a pretty heavy chopper, so should easily be able to make some sticks with it. I can balance it on my board here. I almost need to make me a work table out here. Might have to do that in a later video, but I just want to get the main shelter done before anything else. It don't take a lot of effort with this thing, really. You can just, I mean, I'm chopping kind of more towards the end, not even so much of the belly. Stake to hammer into the ground. Actually, while I'm at it, bevel this edge here. This might be a little harder to do. It's such a big knife, but it's not incredibly hard. Do it if you had to. So when I hammer on this, it don't splinter all out, or shouldn't anyways. Sometimes it does anyways. One thing I'm going to test out with the Becker BK21 here is I'm going to see how well it chops into these hedge apples. They're pretty hard, so. Right through it. Here, let's see. Another test I haven't really tried much with this kukri is I'm going to just do some downward stabs with it. And kukri generally ain't known to be much of a stabbing knife just because it's kind of an awkward angle because of the forward sweep. But I'm going to give it a go here. Tip is holding up pretty well, so thus far the steel seems like it's pretty good. Alright, so one test I'm going to do with this Becker BK21 Reinhardt Kukri is I'm going to baton. I got a pretty hefty sized log here. In that portion I'd say it's about a good 5.5 to 6 inches. Has a pretty decent sized knot right there. Try to baton this, get my little handy dandy baton here, see what I can do. It's pretty seasoned wood too. I pulled it out of my wood pile. But that long blade, the Reinhardt Kukri, go right through it. Let's split this up a little smaller here. Started, but once it does, it goes right through. I'm just pounding on that tip there. Not hurting it at all. That's a hardwood, so I mean if it's going to go through hardwood, it'll go through softwood pretty easily. The quick test I'm going to do is just a quick tin chop test here. Fairly hard, but it's dead wood here, so let's give it a go. And personally, I think this is going to be the strong suit of the Becker BK21. I know this is a little more than 10 chops actually, but it's pretty fun now. Let me show you guys what that done, because I am really impressed. And yeah, I know that was a little more than 10 chops, so I lied, but damn, like I said, this is definitely the strong point on the Becker BK21. Question you might ask yourself about the Becker BK21 is, would this be a potential go to war combat type of knife? And that's actually kind of a hard question to answer, and the reason why is obviously, yeah, it does a lot of damage, and yes, these knives, the kukri, has a history, especially with the Gurkhas, and even the Greeks had a similar, ancient Greeks had a similar knife called the kopis, and all kinds of different historical applications of a forward leaning type blade of this nature, and yeah, something this big can obviously do a lot of damage. So the short answer, yes, it can be used for a go-to-war combat knife. However, its size also is kind of, to me, it's downfall in a sense, just because, yeah, however, it does cut really well and it does work out well on a camp and stuff. You know, obviously if you're in full battle rattle carrying gear and stuff, something this big is a little excessive to be carrying on your person all the time. So the short answer, yes, I personally won't be carrying this as like a go-to-war type of knife. However, let's just see what it can do. Does a shit ton of power, as you can tell. So yeah, the Becker BK21 is one hell of a knife. So my overall impressions of the Becker BK21 Reinhardt Kukri is, this thing's a hell of a chopper. I mean, you guys seen on my supposed 10 chop test and some of the batoning and other chopping I've done and felling trees and cutting through bone and just about anything. This thing is pretty freaking nasty, and compared to some of my other big knives like the BK9 or even the SE Hungless and a couple others, this thing actually chops better than some of them, although I think some those do have kind of their own advantages in different ways. However, this thing is one hell of a workhorse, especially if you're wanting to use it for like a woods knife or a camp knife or cutting logs or whatever. I mean, it can do it, and I guess you could even use it as a, you know, combat survival hell possible zombie, which I think is kind of stupid, but zombie knife or whatever. But you know what, overall this thing's pretty fun. I would highly suggest getting one. With all that being said, be prepared, both physically and spiritually. God bless, and carry on.